If you spend any time online looking at overseas jobs, your feed is likely flooded with agencies promising a guaranteed, fast-track Italian work visa for a simple upfront fee. The reality of the 2026 Italian migration laws is drastically different. The system is rigid, specifically sequenced, and built to block quick workarounds. Because demand for these permits far exceeds the supply, an entire market of supposed agents has emerged to capitalize on the waitlists. This comparison matrix maps out the gap between the sales pitch and the law. On the left, the internet suggests you can buy your way in and apply directly. On the right, the law states every application must begin with the employer. The law is designed around a specific point of control, the Italian sponsor. While an agent might tell you otherwise, an overseas worker has no mechanism to start the process independently. Only the employer inside Italy can open the file. The 2026 update is a heavily guarded bureaucratic pipeline. It is not a lottery ticket you can purchase from a broker. This bar chart shows the actual scale of the new update. The Italian government has authorized over 164,850 legal work quotas for the year. Within that total, a large, dedicated slice is specifically reserved for family assistants, meaning domestic helpers and elder caregivers. This release of visas operates under the Decreto Flussi, the official legal mechanism the state uses to manage non-EU labor entry. The decree is trying to serve two distinct groups: Italian families seeking home aids, known as Colf or Badanti, and overseas workers looking for economic mobility in Europe. These two groups need each other, but they are separated by a complex, slow-moving wall of state bureaucracy. The existence of these 164,000 slots does not guarantee access. The barrier to entry is entirely systemic, not financial. Under the Decreto Flussi, an overseas applicant has no legal standing to file their own paperwork. This flowchart tracks the legal route. Every application begins with an employer established inside Italy. The employer logs into the SUI portal to submit the hiring request. During this initial phase, the worker is completely locked out. Because you cannot check the SUI portal status yourself, you have to trust the person on the other end. This lack of agency makes overseas applicants prime targets for fraud. A legitimate application only exists if you have a pre-existing agreement with the Italian family intending to hire and sponsor you. If an agency claims they are submitting your application, but you have never spoken to an Italian employer, the process hasn't actually started. To understand the delays, we have to look at what the Italian employer is required to provide. The sponsor cannot just fill out a form. They must submit binding employment contracts that meet state-approved wage requirements. Then they have to prove housing. The state must officially certify that the living conditions provided for the worker meet specific municipal standards. Finally, the family must pass financial clearance, proving to tax authorities they have the income to support the worker's salary and social contributions. The sheer weight of this mandatory documentation takes substantial time for families to compile and submit. These strict rules protect the migrant worker from exploitation, but they also slow down families who need to hire emergency care for a relative immediately. Italian families are forced to weigh the long-term legal security of this route against the multi-month delays caused by state verification. Once the state verifies the employer's documentation, they issue the Nulla Osta, the official clearance that transforms a domestic hiring request into a valid legal pathway. With the Nulla Osta in hand, the legal responsibility finally shifts away from Italy and over to you in your home country. This timeline shows the strict constraint that kicks in next. The moment that clearance is issued, a 180-day countdown begins. Within that 6-month window, you must secure an appointment and physically present your clearance paperwork at the Italian consulate. The consulate verifies the documents and issues the Type D National Work Visa, granting you the legal right to cross the border. While that 180-day window ensures you don't have to relocate overnight, the total wait time from the employer's first click to your arrival often stretches past 6 to 8 months. The massive delays and the complexity of the SUI portal are exactly what scammers use to hide their tracks. A common fraud involves an agent demanding thousands of dollars up front to secure a quota slot that may not even exist. The quota slots themselves are free. Any money changing hands should only be for transparent legal processing or verified employer matching services. To verify a claim, demand to see the official SUI portal submission receipt containing the exact details of the Italian employer sponsoring the visa. Be skeptical of final documents as well. Some operators forge fake Nulla Osta certificates to extract a final payment before disappearing. Real security relies on direct, verifiable communication between you and the Italian family hiring you, bypassing middlemen entirely. Based on these hurdles, this scorecard evaluates who this system is actually built to serve. The system works best for the prepared Italian family, planning their care needs months in advance, and the connected overseas worker who already has a direct relationship with their sponsor. It fails the independent hopeful relying on paid agents to find a job, and it fails the family who needs domestic help by next week. By engaging with this decree, you accept total bureaucratic dependency in exchange for legal certainty once you arrive in Europe. The new quotas provide massive opportunity, but the Italian employer remains the gatekeeper. Protect your funds, demand SUI portal proof, and respect the timeline.